All right, let's talk about hell. Yay! Don't worry. I'm not going to depress you. This is a good thing. So hell is something that is self-created and that we experience while we're here on earth. You are not storing up for yourself, no matter what it is that you are doing, you're not storing up for yourself hell in the afterlife. What it is that you're doing is you are receiving karmic retribution based on how you behaved and how you acted while you were here. There is no punishment that is going to come from some God on high. No, it is indeed your own making, your creation of your world, whether you've created it to be heaven or hell. So some people create hell for themselves. They do this totally unknowingly. They don't even know that they're doing it. By what it is that they focus on, by their intent that they have throughout the day, and that they allow their subconscious mind to rule over their life, and it is completely unbeknownst to them that they're even doing this, right? So somebody might say, oh, these bad things always happen to me. And they're right, those bad things do always happen to them, but they happen to them because they speak about it, because they expect it, because they fear it. And so this is a self-created hell that perpetuates, and in fact, indeed, most times gets exacerbated the older that you get, until you learn the lessons, because you are feeding more and more and more of your focused energy and attention onto whatever certain detrimental things that have happened, the chaos and the destruction that's happened in your life. And by giving that your focus, you're feeding it, you're actually feeding it. And through the feeding of it, you are creating a self-created hell while you're here on earth. I know. So sometimes people will play victim to what other people have perceivably done to them. Now, I am not saying that if somebody abused you, you weren't abused, and all of that. I'm not saying any of this. What I am saying is that through those situations that you've gone through, that have made you who you are here today, those things could be very hellish. And when you expect them, which many, many, many people do, expect them to repeat again in the future, and so they go into situations already tainted with the previous experience. So this would be like, let's say you went through heartbreak and it turned you red, as if it painted you completely red. Okay, well, you're going to go and you're going to wash off as much of that as you can, but some of it's going to be left behind. There's going to be this red tint, perhaps, that you are left with behind. And so now you are going to bring that forward with you, because you're now red tinted, and it's going to flavor your experiences in the future, and is going to downgrade them because you have allowed the past to tint your future. And it is only through your expectations of the past coming back to burden and wound you again that you experience the same thing, and that the repeated patterns of the past repeat then again in the future, because you haven't yet learned what it was that you needed to learn. Now, I say learning, but really all it is there needed to be a shift in your belief system, because your beliefs are the be-all and everything in your life and experience. When I'm working with people, what I'm doing is I'm helping them change their beliefs, their perspective about things. So let's say that somebody comes in and they believe that they can't quit smoking. Right? They believe it's very difficult. They believe this. They believe all of these things around that addiction or habit or whatever it is that they're wanting to change. They believe all these things. And because those beliefs are realized, they are the be-all and every single thing. They're everything in our life and experience. These beliefs play out, and so then they believe, oh, I can't quit. It's really hard to quit. And so then they can't quit, and it's really hard to quit. So what I do as a subconscious healer is we go in deep at a soul level, and we do soul work. And while we're doing this, what is changing and what is shifting is the belief system that is there. Because if you believe that you cannot quit doing something, it is because you do not believe in the love. You don't believe in the love of the divine. That is what is going on there, right? Because there is nothing, through my personal experience and what I've witnessed, miraculous healings in my office, what I've witnessed and what I know to be very true is that divine love is perfection. It's perfect. And that there is nothing that it cannot accomplish or do. There's nothing that it cannot do. But it is our mind that gets in the way and behaves in these certain patterns, repeating things from the past, because we haven't looked at ourselves at a truly deep soul level. So essentially, sometimes what I would help people do, and it totally depends on the person, what they're coming to me for, what it is that they're wanting to resolve, what resolution they're looking for. But what I can provide for them, depending, and typically if this is a physical healing, it needs to be something that is extreme. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to have them have the remembrance, that deep soul remembrance of why you came here in the first place. And it is through that, everything, all the beliefs that came after the fact that separated you from this remembrance, that your soul always knew. And your soul, I'll tell you what it is, your soul always knew. When you hear this and see this and experience and feel this at a soul level, it changes things for you. But the only reason that you're here is because of love. It's the only reason. It's the only reason that you're here. And that love drives everything. It has purposefulness behind it, right? That love will push you into the passionate pursuit of whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. So if I didn't love all things spiritual, I wouldn't be speaking to you here today. Right? That love has pulled me in that direction of, oh, I love talking about this. I love speaking about it. I love thinking about it. And so I might as well just start doing it and recording it. Why? Because I truly love all things that are spiritual. So that love has purposefulness and pushed me into the direction of my purpose. So it can and does do this for you too if you allow it to do so. Now sometimes people think, oh, it's too late. It's too late. I'm done this, I'm done that. There's nothing else that I, could passionately pursue, and that is absolutely not true. Do you feel like you're unworthy of accomplishing something later on in your life? Because becoming who you are truly meant to be, maybe you are exactly who you are meant to be right now. And you'll know because you will be so happy. There will be so much happiness, there will be so much joyfulness, there will be so much fun and laughter that flows into your life, and things will just feel easy. I'm not saying that every day you're not going to have to work and do things, but there's going to be an easy and effortless flow that goes on in your life. When you're in your purpose, and that purposefulness has attached to it pure love. Now, if you were doing something and you think that your purpose here is to, make a lot of money, well, maybe that is your purpose. I don't know. Does that money bring you all the love that you were hoping to get from it? I bet it does not. I bet that there's an empty hole that seems like no matter what you put in it, it just gets sucked out, and there's still this emptiness, and you're like, what is it? And you thought you knew in the past what it was, and so you got things, bought things, got into relationships, this and that, and you tried to fill that hole that was there inside of you, and you could not do it, and you cannot do it by those means. The only thing that can bring you this feeling of feeling satisfied is that connection with that love. It is truly being in divine alignment. It is that spiritual connection of being in that love, of listening to what your heart has to say. And when you get in tune with that, it will change things drastically. There will be transformations that happen in your life because you are now perceiving things more honestly and differently than you did before. And you might think, oh, I wasted so much time. I've been there. I remember thinking, wow, did I ever waste a lot of time at the end of a relationship that I had? Did I ever waste a lot of time just being there, deciding not to leave yet? And that was not a mistake. I needed to be there. Some people will leave a relationship and they'll be like, oh, I left 5 years too late. Yeah, that's a waste of time, isn't it? But it's not, because you learned a whole pile. You learned that you don't want that again. And you learn that in the future, if something's lining up and you're like, I don't want this, you're going to let it go. You're not going to waste any more of your time. That's what you're going to realize. And so there is learning and there is blessings that even come from overstaying. There's only goodness that comes because everything is a gift from the Spirit. Even the perceivably bad people, the perceivably negative things, there is always good that comes from it. Now, I'll give you an example here. Now, I am not diminishing or taking away from anyone that was harmed during this incident, but there was a weather incident in the city that I live in, and a lot of people were lost. And it totally obliterated the city. But I have to say, from living here 20 years ago and living here now, there was a clearing that happened. Now, everything here is relatively new because it had to be rebuilt. Now, I'm not saying anything about all those people that were lost. This happened for a reason that I do not know. It was their time. But that doesn't mean that people are going to miss them any less. But just know that all of these people that did pass are just as blessed and wonderful as those people that were left behind, and that they are not lost for good. In fact, they might even be back here on this earth already. We do not know. Whether it's days or weeks or months or moments or seconds before someone's energy reappears here on the earth. But that does not make us miss them any less. However, if you were to look around this city now, you could see that there's all kinds of new life that is here. There's new buildings, there's new trees, there is new art that is everywhere. There was blessings that happened in this city. There was many people that spoke about the butterfly people during that tragedy. That there was people that were comforted, many children that were comforted by these butterfly people, these large winged people that came. Which is showing you, even during a tragedy, everything is still a gift from the Spirit. All of the chaos and destruction that came during that particular time, there was gifts and blessings that were interwoven into it that helped people gain stronger faith in the divine, that helped people come together as a community, and there was so much giving and receiving that was done during that time. And this is pure love. That's all that it is. And it is through that giving and that receiving that the community was rebuilt. And so those bonds became much stronger than they were previous to that environmental event. There was goodness that came from it. This is what I am speaking about here now. So if you look back on your life and you can find all of the goodness and the learnings and the lessons, well, from all of those perceivably failed things, all you did was learn. What did you learn from it? You learned so much good. Maybe it made you look at yourself. Maybe there was things about yourself that you didn't recognize, that you didn't realize, that you didn't even take 2 seconds to think about. But that after the fact, after those perceivable failures, you really took a good hard look. And maybe that changed things within you. Maybe that transformed the energies that you have inside your body. Now, I know that you're not the same person that you were 10 years ago. I'm not, certainly not. I know that you're possibly not even the same person that you were 1 month ago. You might be a completely different person. You might have gained high divine enlightenment frequencies, and you're living in that realm now, and so everybody can notice that you've transformed and that things are different. But maybe this is not the case for you. Maybe this is still what you're seeking. But it is through the seeking that you will find. And as long as you do not stop seeking, you will find what it is that you were looking for. But now, if you are holding on to repeated patterns from the past, I want you to become aware of them right now. If there has been something that has occurred more than one time in your life, this is a pattern that needs to be looked at. Okay, you had an abusive father, now you stepped into an abusive relationship. That's a pattern right there. Why did that pattern occur? because you have beliefs that are subconsciously going with you every single where that you go, and they are emitting a certain frequency. That belief is, just like our words hold frequencies and power within them. And you are emitting it constantly from yourself. You're sending it out unknowingly, unbeknownst to you. You're sending it out, and it is attracting that very thing that will prove your belief to be true. And so if you believe that you are unlovable because your father beat the crap out of you when you were young, well, now you are believing you're unlovable, and so you are going to attract another man who is going to come into your life, and he is going to beat the crap out of you because you believe you deserve it. You believe that you are unlovable and unworthy and not valuable and all those things that go along with it. Now, you might say, yes, I believe this because it's true, and my father proved it to me, and then this other man proved it to me, and then the next man proved it to me. Well, no, you were not proven anything to be true. The only thing that you are proving to me is your beliefs that you are holding within yourself, because I see when my clients come to me and then they change their beliefs, all of a sudden things in their life change. Different things are now magnetized to them, just like the people who come in with money blocks and they say, I don't get it. Everything else is good, but I just got this money block. Okay, well, we'll work on that. And when we change those beliefs under there, all of a sudden they're getting checks and they're getting money and they're getting anonymous money that they're like, I don't even know where the heck this is coming from. Like, I just talked to a woman the other day, got a check for $600 that she was like, what? They gave me, I was not expecting this. It's coming from a totally random, weird source. Free money. Why? Because she changed the belief that she had within herself. Now, what was this belief attached to? I don't even recall, but I know it had something to do with a past life. I know it had to do with this life. There was many facets that were all interwoven that led to that outcome of that belief. This is how your subconscious, your soul works. This deep level that when I take people into it in my office or through Zoom, whenever I work worldwide, when I'm taking them into this deep level of their soul experience, there will be all kinds of things in there that consciously you are completely unaware of. And as we work through and as we heal these things rapidly, it was one session for this woman, as we change these things, then the results change because the beliefs that are underlying it change. This is why I have the Real Healing Institute, and I say it is a place to heal your beliefs because that's all that we're doing. Now, Jesus, he said, have faith. He didn't say, have faith in me. He didn't say, have faith in me that I'm who I say that I am and all these things. No, he didn't. He said, have faith, meaning have belief. And then he went around and he talked about the love, and he preached to everybody about the love, and he told them how you reap as you sow, that what you're putting out, you're getting back. But he told them that the only thing that really exists is the love. But people counteract that love. They do all kinds of things that their human nature prompts them to do. And therefore, it is not sin to do any of those things that your human nature prompts you to do. No, you will receive karma back from whatever it is that you have done. That is the punishment. That is the reward. You get the good when you do the good. You get the bad when you do the bad. But it is the beliefs that underlie it that are truly the be-all and everything in your experience in your life. That's what allows things to flow in, and that's what stops the flow. If you're sending out the bad energies, you are allowing those bad energies in. If you are sending out the good energies, you are allowing those good energies in. But everything will be coming to you dictated on the beliefs that are underlying that. If you give, and then you go on and say, what a shameful thing it's done, I can't believe I gave that because I never get anything in return, then that's exactly what you'll get. You'll get your belief. You'll get nothing in return. And the energy that you attach to that thing that you gave to that person that should have been out of love and only love was not out of love, and you will get that in return. So when you send out the love like Jesus spoke about, when you plant seeds of only love, you will reap a harvest of love. This is what he did. He would speak about this love, and then he would prove it to the people by healing them with this love. What those people were witness to was the power of divine love. Now, one time Jesus spoke out. He was, I would say, hangry. And he was looking for food, and he knew that it was not the right time of year to find figs on a fig tree, but he found a fig tree, and he was pissed when he found it because it had no fruit on it, and he said, "May you never bear fruit again," because he was hangry. His words are very powerful words. All of our words are a gift from the Spirit. They hold within them a certain frequency and a whole lot of power. So the very next day, he goes out past this tree and he sees that it is withered and dead. And he realized never had his words caused harm to something like this before. And he knew that at some point he would wither and he would die on the cross. He knew that this was not some punishment from God on high, no, but that it was what he had done that was what was going to return back to him. And he knew this. And so he brought his disciples out and he showed them and he said, "Look, dudes, look what freaking happened. I cursed this tree yesterday and now it is withered and dead. Have I not told you all how powerful that your words are? Here is the proof." So you can't just cast your words out all willy-nilly and expect that it's just fine. You can't come in the house and be like, I was dealing with this freaking idiot today, or that moron, or whatever it happens to be. No, 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 do not. Speak those words and do not listen to them if someone in your environment is speaking them. Those are the lowest frequency, the farthest away from the divine love that you could get. And our whole purpose of being here on earth is about the love. That's our purpose. This is why we are here. So anything that is counterproductive to that, you're wasting all your time putting out those hateful, angry words, those sad words, those disappointing words, those frustrated words, whatever it happens to be. When you're spending all your consciousness, knowledge, and energy on that, you will have that return back to you in this life. And you'll think, oh, why is all these bad things happening to me? Why do these things keep happening to me? They don't happen to anybody else. That's because you're the creator. You did it. That's why those things happen to you, and those things happen to that person, and those things happen to that person. What you are witness to is the beliefs that they hold within themselves. That's it. That's all you're seeing. Because your beliefs, which is your consciousness, it's part of your consciousness, is the be-all and everything in your life and experiences. And every single thing in your life you have created through the creative mind, through the consciousness, and through the beliefs in which you hold in your subconscious mind. Now here's the deal. Many people don't know the beliefs that they hold within their subconscious mind, because I will ask them before I begin working with them for certain things, for certain numbers, for whatever it happens to be. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how this affects you. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how that affects you. And they will give me all their numbers and they will tell me all the things. And I'll say, do you know when this began? Do you know where it's come from? Okay, excellent. None of those things really actually matter. I'm asking out of curiosity's sake so that I can see the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Because then when I get them into state and I ask them on a subconscious level, maybe their numbers will still be the same. Usually they're a little bit different. But very often the thing that comes up in their session they had absolutely no clue still wasn't healed. Still wasn't the thing. Still wasn't there. Or that something that they never have even thought of since it happened, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, that was the thing that is now causing them their problems here right now. And luckily for them, I see these patterns a mile away and I can help them to heal these problems and to find solutions while we are in that deep soul state. But what I am introducing to them when they are in this soul state is truth, truthful energies. So there will be all kinds of beliefs that you hold within yourself that are not truthful, but that you have so much proof that they are true, but they're not the truth. All you have is proof of your beliefs. Everything is belief. And so when we go in and we change these things, maybe it happened at 4 years old, that, Something happened, somebody embarrassed you, somebody said something, somebody didn't treat you right. There was chaos going on in the home, or somebody died, or something happened. And from that very incident, at that young age, 4 years old, you went from believing the truth that you are loved and that it's all about the love, and then something changed. It changed your mind. And by changing your mind, it changed your belief that you held previous. And because it changed that belief that you held previously, you are now changed as a person. And it has changed and transformed your whole entire life, typically in some negative fashion, which is why you're now coming to me in my office to get help with this 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years later. But you don't know that. You don't know that that's why. Until you get down to that deep soul level, and then you see it clear and plain as day. And I don't know these things when you walk into my office. I mean, well, sometimes I do. But when you're coming into my office, these things become revealed the deeper that we go into that soul state. And this is where all the healing is done. And so if you ever had, loved ones who have passed, sometimes they will appear in a session. Very often, Jesus will appear in a session. Very often. Sometimes because I invite him into your session, and sometimes because he's just the one that shows up. And it is through this coming together, this union with that divine love, because Jesus, let me tell you, he can heal you in a session. He can do all kinds of things in a session. He can do it all. There's nothing that he cannot do, because he is just love in action. He's love activated. He's the consciousness of love. Christ's consciousness is divine alignment, loving consciousness. That's all it is love. And it is through this deep remembrance of all that you have forgotten since you came here on earth, is this deep remembrance of that love that heals all things. It heals all the things. There is nothing that it does not heal. Do not think and do not listen to other people for 1 second when they say that miraculous things do not happen here on earth. Because that has been their life experience, and it's easy for them to say, no, that hasn't happened because it hasn't happened to me. Well, unfortunately for that person, and through their spreading of those untruthful words, they will have to deal with the karma from that. From taking away hope from other people. Hope at some point in their future will be taken away from them. From lying, even though they're not even aware that they're doing it. They have woven something into the fabric that is a lie, and their world and other people will base their lives off of that lie. And it will affect all kinds of people, and they will have to pay for the karma from that as well. But here's one thing that you do not have to pay karma for in a negative way. Spreading the love. You never have to pay for that. You just get more of that goodness back to you. Spreading the love. So how can you spread the love here today? Who have you not called in a very long time? And you keep thinking about that person. You're like, oh, I should give him a call. Oh, I should give him, quit saying should, and just pick up the phone and give that person a call so that they can hear your sweet voice on the other end of the phone, and that you can hear theirs, and that you can get that connection. That person has been popping into your head for whatever reason. Maybe they're thinking of you, maybe you're whatever it happens to be. But take your time and go and do that if that's the thing that you want to do that you've been putting off. Maybe there's somebody that you need to stop in and go visit. Maybe there's somebody you used to regularly go see and you haven't seen them in a long time, and you're like, oh, I should go see that person. Go do it. Brighten their day. Maybe you got some extra money. Maybe you got some cash in your wallet. Maybe you could go and you could give that to somebody that you see in need. Maybe you could go and you could leave it in some special place that you're intuitively guided to leave it to leave it there, and put it in an envelope with a nice sweet note. Whoever finds this, and just know that you're putting good out in the world. How can you put some good out in the world? How can you spread that love? You know what you can do? You can be honest with yourself. That's how you can spread the love. Because when you're honest with yourself, then you're living in the freedom and you're living in the truth. Maybe that's something you haven't been in a while. Maybe you haven't been honest with yourself. I don't know what this means. I don't know who this applies to, as I'm channeling pretty much half this message in and out, and I am right now. Maybe honesty is needed in a situation. Maybe clarity is needed in a situation. And by doing that, you're spreading the love where maybe it hasn't been before. You're becoming a better person every single day. I know this. I know that the goodness that you want in your life, it wants you too. And I know that the goodness that you spread throughout the world, the gifts that you give, the wonderful love that you put out there, it's all returning back to you, baby. And it's coming back in full force. And as long as your beliefs are in alignment with also receiving and not just being the giver all the time, you're going to receive back all that goodness that you put out. But if you really truly want to be happy in this life, then the only thing that you really need to seek is that divine loving alignment. And that means by removing everything that it is not. So removing all of the resentment, the anger, the sadness, the hate, the despair, all of those low frequency, low vibe, low vibrations from your energy, from your auric field, releasing all of these. And by releasing them, you automatically open up that energy, that space there, and you invite, through your intention, divine love to fill up that space. And it will make you feel so different. When is the last time that you showed yourself some compassion for everything that you've been through? I bet it's been a long time. So, you deserve it. You need some compassion. You've been through some stuff. Yeah, you have, baby. You know it. So, next time that you meditate, just close your eyes and envision that little younger you, or that you at whatever age, maybe it's not younger, maybe it's recent, that needs that love and support, and just give it to them. Give them a hug, give them some love, give them that feeling of compassion that you give to other people so freely, but that you haven't taken the time to do for yourself when it's really you that needs it the most. And by showing yourself that compassion, you will notice that it softens your energy, that it gets you more into divine alignment, because the divine loves you and is sending you compassion second by second all the time, every day, all day long. But we block it out with the mind. That mind can cause all kinds of problems for us. This is why when we listen to our heart, because as you know from the last video I did, or maybe it was the one before that, I can't remember now, figuring out what it is that you want, maybe it was about decision making, I don't remember, but through that exercise that we did of listening to your heart versus listening to your mind, it's a completely different vibe. It's like it's two different people. But who was that was observing that? The difference between the heart and the mind. It's like there's a third you. How many levels of consciousness are there? How many different voices within your own energy system, your own soul wavelength are there? So many. I'll leave that for something to think about for another time. But what I want to mention here before we're finished here today is that being compassionate towards yourself is so important. Because as you give yourself that compassion, what you're also doing is you are going back to that person, that previous experience, and you are giving them the love that they needed at that time. So it's all about love. But what you're also doing is you're discovering learning from it, right? Because as you're compassionate towards yourself and that understanding, you're learning like, oh man, like I learned a lot from this. Wow. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to be that again. Everybody, thinks of me in this way, and they got me all screwed up and messed up. I'm not that at all. I've changed. I'm a different person. I don't need to hold on to that old way because it's not me anymore. And giving yourself that compassion that you needed at that time in the past, and giving yourself that compassion right now, can change things and transform things magically for you. It'll make you feel so much different, so much softer, so much more compassionate, more in alignment with the divine love that is everywhere. It's the be-all and everything. So that's what I have for you guys here today. Thank you guys for tuning in. So appreciate you. Love you all so much. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. If you haven't signed up for this channel yet, please do that. And welcome aboard. I got new videos every day, and I got the Mental Cleanse series on here, which is 40 free hypnotherapy guided sessions. Something like it would be as if you were attending a group that I would be putting on. Very beneficial. Made those several years ago during an enlightenment period, and knew that I could make these, I could put them out there, and I could help people for free for years and years and years and years and years, as long as YouTube exists. So I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.